Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. I think most people are back, so we're good to go. Well, we've got a very special guest now. Not that all our guests are special. All our presenters are special, of course. But we've got a particularly special guest because Cédric Turini from the Fédération nationale des Caisses d'Épargne, the National Federation of Saving Banks in France, a French cooperative bank. As you know, we don't have credit unions in France, but the cooperative ideal and the cooperative model developed a little bit separately, and they have cooperative banks. So it's great that Cédric is here to speak to us about their experience, the French experience, and particularly about a theme that has already arisen this morning about the engagement of young people within the cooperative banking sector. So I'd just like to welcome Cédric. Would you like to come up? I'll give Cédric a clap.
Hello. Thank you for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here. I work for the National Federation of French Savings Banks as the head of development for cooperative activities, CSR programs, communication, and research. George this morning was talking about sharing resources between credit unions. Our mission at the Federation is precisely that. We pool resources to contribute to the development of the savings banks. Caisses d'Épargne are cooperative companies, and one of the major cooperative principles is cooperation and sharing between cooperatives from local to international level. And because we strongly believe in this principle, I warmly accepted your invitation. Thank you. I understand that you are interested today in how we address the challenge of attracting and retaining young members and customers. I approach this topic with modesty, as we also face difficulties. However, I'm pleased to share our experiences with you. First of all, I would like to provide some information about the French savings banks known as Caisses d'Épargne. Caisses d'Épargne are 15 universal local banks that offer a full range of banking services to all types of customers. They are deeply rooted in their local communities and operate closely in line with local needs, serving nearly 14 million clients. Caisses d'Épargne are part of the BPCE group, which ranks among the top 30 largest banks in the world and in the second place in France. The group is composed of Caisses d'Épargne, Banque Populaire, and Natixis, our investment bank. Caisses d'Épargne operates as cooperatives with capital owned by 4.4 million share owners. Caisses d'Épargne themselves own 50% of BPCE capital, which is entirely cooperative, meaning all the capital of the group is owned by its member, including all its subsidiaries. One word about the historic role of French savings banks in France. Caisses d'Épargne are long-standing institutions, first established in 1818. They were originally funded by two philanthropists who aimed to combat poverty by providing everyone the ability to save money. At that time, banking services were limited to the richest part of French population. The founders of the Caisse d'Épargne introduced a brilliant concept, le livret A, a savings account book that still exists today. This initiative made savings accessible to everyone, especially the less wealthy. There were sort of savings union of this time. At the beginning of the 20th century, there were over 400 small-sized caisses d'épargne throughout France before they began to merge. Even today, the issue of mergers is a hot topic. I will deny having said that, but there are as many arguments in favor of merger as against. In the globalized and standardized world of McKinsey, maybe it's normal for size to be considered an asset. In our world, it's not certain. To promote savings, Caisses d'Épargne established educational program as part of their banking school initiative. Teachers encouraged students to save money each week. Throughout the 20th century, le livret A became a significant asset for attracting young customers, as many parents opened saving accounts for their children at birth. Thanks to the success of livret A, Caisse d'Épargne developed significantly and became the primary savings institution in France. True to their original mission, the funds were reinvested in the French economy, and a significant portion of profits was allocated to social activities. However, in 2009, the European Commission and French public authorities declared that livret A represented a form of monopoly. They allowed other banks in France to offer it as well. This decision dealt a severe blow to Caisse d'Épargne, making the question of attracting young people increasingly urgent. From now on, the question is, what do young people want and what they need? They are accustomed to free digital services and often do not understand why they should pay for it. They can listen to music for free, and when they do pay, their expectations are high. They want 24/7 services quickly and efficiently. They tend to compare offers and prefer those that provide a unique experience. Price is a crucial factor. Hence, in France, the French banking market is highly competitive when it comes to attracting young customers. All banks offer discounts and benefits tailored specifically for them. Online banks are particularly dynamic in targeting them. In this context, we often have to accept losing money to retain young customers. In France, the banking market is dominated by 6 banks, 3 of which are cooperatives. These institutions represent 90% of the sector, and specifically the cooperatives accounting for 70%. Approximately 20% of French people are clients of an online bank, while 10% use neobanks. But the penetration rates among young people is high because for online bank it's 30% and for neobanks it's 20%. Unlike traditional capitalist banks, we face another challenge with young people. We need to attract them to become members of our cooperatives as yours, because we need to address the aging profile of our current member base. This is particularly urgent for Caisses d'Épargne because there are cooperatives only since 1999. Before, we were not. So in 1999, Caisses d'Épargne sold 4 billion euros in shares to their clients who are now more and more aging. Currently, we have approximately 14 million clients, including 1.5 million clients under the age of 15, and 1.8 million clients under 25. It's important to note, and you note, that not all our clients are members, which is why we have only 4.4 million share owners, with only 6% of this being under 25 years old, representing a mere of 2% of our capital. And the trend is concerning as it is declining, which raises the important question of why youth engagement is a significant issue for us. What is our strategy? To counter this trend, we decided to adopt a family-oriented approach to attract parents and indirectly the young members of their families. We understand that children often choose the bank of their parents. Our goal is to be recognized as the bank for families. For example, we offer one account, one bank card, and one advisor for each family member, all for a single advantageous monthly fee. Our message to parents is the following: we will help you make your children more independent. We recognize that young people have three main types of needs: education, housing, and travel. For example, we have partnered with Money Walkie, a contactless payment solution designed specifically for children to introduce them to money management in a simple, fun, and secure way. This year, we launched a student loan without a personal guarantee or resource conditions, with the aim of supporting more than 50,000 students at the end of this year. In response to the rising cost of living in France, this new initiative aims to support students in their higher education in a sustainable manner. We also embraced technology by developing a youth version of our mobile app. It's a significant but necessary investment because young people want to enjoy their own unique experience. They want simple and user-friendly features with personalized recommendations and offers. In terms of communication, according to our market studies, young individuals require advice and coaching on budget management and banking services. We draw inspiration from Desjardins, the Canadian bank, which employs a strong social media presence with educational content. They collaborate with influencers and offer on-demand online videos to assist young people in managing their finance. Recognizing the importance of social media in reaching a younger audience, we are active on TikTok and Instagram, where we primarily share educational content. Through these platforms, we guide and educate young people who need to be supported. For instance, we recently hosted a live stream on Twitch called Réponse Cash, a fun show featuring influencers. On TikTok and Instagram, we post short videos named Question Cash, addressing topics relevant to young people, providing useful everyday tips and tricks. To strengthen our cooperative model, we are systematically offering all our clients aged 18 years old the opportunity to purchase shares and become members. Recognizing that young people are particularly sensitive to CSR initiatives, we actively promote our social and environmental efforts. We didn't read McKinsey report, but over the past 3 years, we have supported 600 nonprofit organizations that assist young people. This year, we are launching a call for projects to promote biodiversity, and we offer young clients a savings account whose funds are invested in projects that benefits the planet and climate. Additionally, we conduct financial education activities in collaboration with an association employing Caisse d'Épargne advisors. They train 30,000 young people each year in money and budget management. They particularly target young people in difficulty and use gamification. We provide our members with a digital club where they can enjoy discounted rates at partner retailers and exclusive contents. For young people, we will organize games with gifts such as concert tickets or tickets to handball and basketball matches. Our research shows that many young people believe that non-capitalistic banks, even neobanks like Revolut, are cooperatives. This is based on their affinity strategy and their ability to foster a sense of community. We must achieve this as well. In conclusion, I will be brief. I can say that we have made strides toward reducing youth attrition, but we have not yet succeeded in increasing their numbers. We don't have a perfect solution, which is why we have developed a strategy based on different kinds of actions, which I could summarize by attractive offers, tailored communication, and initiatives that resonate with young people. Thank you for your invitation.
And thank you, Cédric, for such an interesting, informative, and engaging presentation. We would like, if you're okay, we'll have 1 or 2 questions or comments from the floor. I know there are many people here are interested in how credit unions can engage with younger people. Is there anybody who would like to, come in on the conversation? Either a question, a comment, a thought? Here we go. Patrick.
Maybe Paul Anthony, you will try to translate.
Okay, thanks very much. That's very interesting. You mentioned about young people being, their priorities being housing, education, travel. I'm just wondering, and maybe I'm kind of out of touch with younger people now, sadly, whether things like the climate crisis are another way to engage young people. We heard before from the former commissioner about the way in which ESG is kind of been downplayed, but my sense is, as a lecturer with young students, that the climate crisis is still something quite high in their kind of political imaginaries, and I just wonder whether that is part of the message that the credit union sector in France is tying in with.
Okay, the climate change, climate crisis, and how it engages young people.
The concerning of young people about that?
Yeah, and about how the bank engages in that issue.
You know, we did some studies about that. It seems there is a big difference between the will and the fact. When you ask young people, climate, environment, is it important for you? Yes, a lot. But when we ask how do you address that, what do you want from us, which is very interesting for retail bank as they're challenging us about social stakes and not really environmental stakes, because it seems they don't do the link between the retail brand in the street and climate, So we have to explain how there is the pedagogical work to do. And for example, we have this new account which fund just for people under 25 years old. It's limited just for them, with a very good fiscal tax advantage. And it's linked to environmental projects. But there is a big gap between what they want, what they say, and what they do.
Okay, thanks, Cédric. Does anybody else would like to come in or share good practice in reaching out to young people? I know there is good practice in the room.
Here.
Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry. You can use mine.
Just a question on your use of TikTok. Have you been able to see any empirical data of the effectiveness of that, or how long have you been using it? How have you been able to monetize that content? It's something we're looking at here ourselves, early enough stages, getting a lot of traction, but I don't see the data yet.
Yes, we have some data. Yes. Firstly, it's not very costly. So it's often better. Just to give a comparison, if we launch a big TV broadcast, it's 6 million euros. On TikTok, for 6,000, you can have a rate of reach very good. The result of that, it's we improve the perception of our brand for young people, because Caisse d'Épargne, it's an old brand in France, and we are not considered by young people as a very innovative and modern brand, So it's a way to prove them that we can be dynamic, we can be attractive, we can be fun, It's more like that on the perception of brand. But if you try to make a link between this perception and the consumption, it's more difficult.
Thank you, Cédric. We'll just take one more before we go on to Mark. Any more? Anything? Anything from Scotland? I know there are things happening in Edinburgh. Yeah, go ahead.
Cédric, I'll ask two questions. We spoke last night, and you asked me about Revolut in the UK. What's the situation in France? And secondly, would you be willing to give a transcript of your talk to Paul so that he can circulate it to all of us? Because I think there's some absolute gems in there. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. I will send you. Yeah, okay. For Revolut, it's not a problem today in France for us because it's about 1 or 2% of the market. But they have a penetration rate higher with young people, 20%. So we are concerned. But what is very strange is when we ask young people and people in general, according to you, which banks is cooperative in France? There are a lot to consider that Revolut is cooperative. And I think it's this kind of affinity, community strategy, you know, and the preoccupation for us, we are not competitive on this field. We have to consider that, yes. Yes.
Okay, thanks, Cédric. Of course, in Ireland, Revolut, I don't know what the exact penetration rate, does somebody know? But it's massive in Ireland. Actually, in Ireland, Revolut has become a verb. You too, Revolut. Will you Revolut me? You know,
Why?
€5.
There is a particular explanation for that?
Because with Revolut, you can send between people.
Okay.
You know, so will you Revolut me €5? You know, so it comes from your Revolut to my Revolut.
Because it's not an Irish company, it's a company from Estonia?
Yeah, that's where it's based, but there's so many, you know, customers of Revolut in Ireland. That's much higher than in the UK, I think, altogether. Has anybody got any experience of Revolut being a competitor to credit unions?
Basically, if 5 people are out to dinner, one person pays, the other person on Revolut.
Did you understand that? Yeah. If you're 5 people out to dinner, one person pays the bill, and the other 4 Revolut him their share. To Revolut. It's a new English word, to Revolut. Well, Cédric, thanks a million. That was great. And I think the message there from Tony to whether we could publish your paper as part of our proceedings of this conference would be excellent.
No problem.
Good.
Thank you.